believe that this is our moment. I need everything you got all game long.
Tennessee, as an upstart 6 seed, have set the tone early. Chiefs are down by 10 again.
Don't worry about talking. We the team dominating every play.
Kansas City just beginning hammer time. Getting ready to start Super Bowl 54. He's throwing long downfield for Tyreek Hill. Got it. Throw right side. Caught by Williams. Touchdown. Hail to the king of the Chiefs kingdom forever.
Well, hail to the Chief indeed. In fact, on President's Day, which is Monday, we at NFL Network are going to give you a Patrick Mahomes marathon. We're going to relive 8 of his best games in his young career.
What's about to say?
Keep an eye out for the no-look passes.
It's only 3 years in.
And he already has a handful of games that were jaw-droppers there.
Already.
The Patrick Mahomes Marathon, 7 a.m. we begin it on President's Day. That is Monday here on NFL Network. Look at, he was the MVP after the 2018 season. He was this year's Super Bowl MVP. He's got a 50 passing touchdown season to go with a 5,000-plus passing yard season. Oh, and his passer rating, let's just round up that number. It's 109, let's say. All that is best of all time, as in all time, as in Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, you name it. He's number 1 all time. So there's really no question about this kid, except, Patrick, if you're watching, it's been a nice couple of years starting. What we want to know now is, can you do it for 10 years? Can you do it? Can we do it for 15 years? We got a guy in New England that's done it for 20 years. So name me a trait, Michael, if you will, that you see in Mahomes right now that you say, I can see long-term success for this guy because of this.
Well, I think we all know his arm talent. I mean, throwing it from different angles, being able to backpedal, throw the ball
80 yards.
You know what I mean? But I think what we saw in this playoffs, and it was part of that montage that we just showed, what we saw in the playoffs was a man with the ability to will his team to a win. And I only think there's probably 4 or 5 of these human beings walking the planet. And we have a few of them in the National Football League. You named a couple of them, the Joe Montanas, the Tom Brady's, those types of guys. He's in this class. Check this out. In the playoffs, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was also second on the team in rushing. And he's not Lamar Jackson. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
135 yards rushing. We saw him do an option on the goal line. This guy will make $200 million probably. The highest paid quarterback in NFL history. All these passing stats, and we run an option with him on the goal line. Yeah. And he got up and flexed afterward. It wasn't no coming back. It wasn't no Andy Reid. Don't run that play no more. This is the quarterback that I want. You see what I'm saying? I don't need a quarterback that's going to be great when times are awesome. I need a quarterback that when the odds are against us, we're down by 24 points in the first half, my quarterback will will us to a win. Patrick Mahomes put it on display this playoff.
Absolutely. What do you see in the young man that you just think is going to propel him for 10, 12, 15 years of success?
When you watch this kid, man, it's hard to believe. Okay, he's been in the league for 3 years, but he's only played for 2 years.
Yeah, 2-year starter.
For 2 years, and he's won the MVP in 1 year and won the Super Bowl the next year and the Super Bowl MVP. So when you look at him, you just see how fearless this guy is. He's confident in everything that he does. And when you see Patrick Mahomes, there's never a time in the game where you see him that he looks flustered, that he looks like, okay, I just can't get it done today. You look at the weapons that he have around him, he understands who's on his team, and he understands what he's capable of, and he goes out and he plays like it. So I've been impressed with him for sure.
I think something key that you said, he understands who's on his team. Right? And when contract time comes around, I think he needs to understand who's on his team and those guys' ability to get paid as well.
And if you want to keep him on your team,
that's what I'm saying.
We will talk about that. We're going to talk about that in just a second with Ian Rappaport. But before we do that, though, the other thing I do not see in the kid, and I say kid because he's 24 years old, lethargy. He doesn't look like he's going to say, MVP, Super Bowl ring, I'm just going to sit back. So what will he be working on? What would you recommend that he works on to hone that to a razor's edge?
Well, on my sheet, I said take less hits, right? But that is knowing when to give up on a play, knowing when to say, okay, play's over, all right, we're going to have to punt the next play, and understanding that he can't take too many hits. He can't be the guy that, take hits like that. You know what I'm saying? He can't take a lot of those. Not saying that he's soft or anything.
No, he can absorb them, but you don't want to take that.
You do not want your franchise quarterback taking hits like that. So if I'm Patrick, if I can just limit the hits that I take, knowing when to give up on a play, throwing the ball away, sliding a little bit more, I think he'll make himself more available in the future.
He seems to have pretty good radar around him, like in terms of where's the defender, where is the stress coming from.
Very smart, very smart. You see guys jump off sides, he's still scrambling. He's looking around to see if there's a flag thrown, and if it is, he chucks it deep. I mean, the awareness is unbelievable.
If you could pull him aside and say, hey, Patrick, think about this going forward, what would it be?
We just talked about his greatest strengths. I think his greatest strengths can sometimes also be one of his biggest weaknesses. He has that confidence. He goes out. He's fearless when he plays the game, but he also tries, because he has a strong arm, he tries to squeeze things into tight windows. And when you do that as a quarterback, you tend to get in trouble sometimes. No matter how strong your arm is, or no matter how good you think you are, the other guys on the other side of the field are just as good. They're getting paid to do a job, and they're going to do it. So when you look at Patrick Mahomes and what he's been able to do, his passing rating goes down when he has to throw balls into tight windows and at a significant rate. So I think that's one of the things this offseason, if he's doing a self-evaluation, he needs to really look at that and really find what we call making the layup. Sometimes it's not always a deep throw that's going to get you going. You got to be able to get it to the check down or get it to your tight ends from time to time when the deep ball is not there.
It's a little bit of Brett Favre syndrome. Like Favre, when he just always thought, and then Mike Holmgren had to settle him down just a little bit. No more rocket balls, please, as the famous
My
NFL
arm is better than your coverage.
Yeah. All right, I am sitting on set here with two men who have a strong grasp on their finances. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes and a potential contract extension.
I'm not in that range.
There are very few people on the earth who have that range. Ian Rappaport joins us again right now. Look, the Chiefs do not have to give him a contract extension for the next 2 years. Still has 2 years left on his rookie deal. They'll pick up his fifth-year option as a first-round pick. But I got to think the Chiefs want to lock him up as soon as possible. What are you hearing, Ian, about the way both sides are approaching this?
Well, they're in the same position the Chiefs are that most teams are when they know that they got one. There's no questions about the kind of quarterback that Patrick Mahomes is, Super Bowl MVP, one of the best players regardless of position in the NFL. He's only going to get more expensive. So, yes, this is the offseason. The Chiefs would like to extend him, give him a big-time contract extension. As far as the parameters, we don't know specifics, and they're going to wait until a CBA is done just to get the landscape of what a new deal is going to be and what the future salary caps are going to be and all of the financials. But it does seem that all this comes with the assumption that he's going to be the highest paid player in the NFL. And even the fact that it could approach $40 million on a per-year basis doesn't surprise or scare anyone. At the end of all this, Patrick Mahomes' finances are going to be pretty secure, too.
Yeah, we could say that safely there. And they're going to also have to, both sides, look into a new CBA that could be executed sometime in the next months or year to come. And then what does that do to the salary cap and the quarterback position as well? Ian, enjoy the rest of the weekend, buddy. Good to see you, man. Guys, let's take a look at the playoff teams from last year. Of course, Patrick Mahomes has been in the league for 3 years. He's been to the playoffs all 3 years, and, of course, is the Super Bowl champ right here. Here are the 12 teams from this last playoff field. Now, historical percentages say that the Super Bowl champion for the next Super Bowl, Super Bowl 55, is going to come out of this group. Out of the 54 Super Bowl champs, 42 of them were in the playoffs the year before, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In other words, it's a stepping stone. So let's put aside the Super Bowl teams from this year. So don't give me San Fran, don't give me Kansas City, but pick a team that was in the playoffs this year that you think is ready to make a Super Bowl leap this upcoming season.
That's an easy one for me. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, the number 1 seed.
When you look at what these guys were able to do from a standpoint of ball control, they did a great job of running the ball and playing really good defense. And I think that's the formula for any team to go out and be successful at any rate. If you are able to run the ball, control the clock, and really allow your defense to stay fresh, that's the formula for winning football games in this league.
Yeah, I like the Baltimore Ravens, too. I just hope that they don't get bored with running the football. Don't get bored. Just do what works. But I like the Green Bay Packers as well. I know people are saying, Aaron didn't have the same year. Well, look, guys, they won 13 games.
13 wins.
13-3. 3. And I think, Aaron playing in a system, in a structure, kind of messed him up a little bit. He had to get adjusted to that. And I think year 2, and I'm very interested to see year 2 in this Matt LaFleur structure. Can Aaron Rodgers get better? And I think he will, and I think he will take the coaching of Matt LaFleur.
And you know what?